Okay, so welcome to listing presentations class. This isn't the same one that Kendall taught or Kindle taught. She taught more actually going through it, and how to present yourself and all that. And she has her own copy that she uses as well. But I just wanted to show you how you can quickly and easily just make it in Command. So as we go through this, like I said, feel free to just interrupt me whenever if you have a question. Um, I'm not going to be keeping a close eye on the chat, so it's easier to just interrupt me instead of typing something. And we will go from there. So I'm starting out, I'm in Command. I just went all the way down to this Designs applet, clicked on that. And then it'll take you to one of these. What you want to do is go down to this plus in the bottom right-hand corner. So click that. We are going to go to a print. And now here we can just kind of browse the templates, see which ones we like best. This is where you would go to, if you were designing a postcard, if you were designing social media graphics, whatever you want is in here. And first it sorts it by subject, I guess, or why purpose. Why are you looking for this? Well, we have a listing, or we want to have a listing. So I believe that's in here. Listing presentation. So click that. And they give us 5 different templates. And in order to click to see what these look like, I mean, they all kind of follow the same theme. So this font is going to be used a lot in this one. This one has a lot of black backgrounds and this kind of shadowy KW. You can see better when I'm not hovering over it. So it'll stick with that theme. So if you can look at the front cover here and be like, oh, this looks pretty classic. I like this. It does say classic. You just click use. If you're not sure, click use anyway, and then you can just kind of scroll through it and see if you like it or not. So then here, I'll just go ahead and click use for this one. Oh, this is a new thing. Your design is available for print order. I was just doing actually a different listing presentation for myself yesterday, and this was not here. So this must be brand new. So I will explore that and see what that's all about. I'm guessing that you will be able to then, send it to your local print shop and they will just go ahead and send it. Or maybe we've partnered with somebody. We do that with the postcards. They partnered with Real Mailers LLC. So you just go ahead and send them your postcard and they print it and send it out and everything. Interesting. Okay, well, I will look into that and let you know. So you'll notice here, I just have a blank page. It just starts you out with that. On the left-hand side, this is a template, and they have, I don't know what it is, like 29 pages or something. So you can see all the different pages of the listing presentation over here, all of your options. And you don't have to add all of them. So it's kind of a la carte. You just pick and choose what you want. If I add this, I click that plus button, which will appear once you hover over it. And it adds this page here. And now it says 2 pages because that first page was just, they keep this blank one in here, which you can get rid of. Not a big deal. I'll show you that in a minute. Now, you probably don't want something that says listing presentation template if you are actually going on a listing presentation, a listing appointment. So I would get rid of that or say listing presentation for so-and-so. Or alternatively, there's also this page, which I usually just scrap this front page altogether because they have this nice one. The 3rd page down is pretty nice. This 2nd page, then we're just going to click this plus instructions. We're not going to want that either, but we can remove it later. We'll zoom in a little bit here. So it gives you instructions. It essentially just says, hey, this is made so that you can customize it. We've given you these examples. Feel free to add or remove anything. So they just go into that a little bit. And then they say too, if you need extra help, email support@kw.com. If you guys just want to email me, that's probably going to be faster than emailing support. So feel free to do that if you're working on this and encounter something tricky. So I'm just going to go ahead and keep adding pages here. This is a cover page. This is kind of a table of contents. This is their property. So we'll just start there with the first, I don't know, 5 pages or something. And I'll show you what I do with that typically. So if we click this pages, oh, by the way, I didn't say that. I click this little arrow to collapse that sidebar. If I want to get to it again and see more of the pages and add more, I can just click this templates button again and it appears. So I'm just getting rid of that because I want it out of my way for now while I'm working, but you can feel free to leave that open, it doesn't matter. So if I go down here where it says pages, that's going to show me all of the pages that I've added. And if I want to jump from, right now I'm on page 6, if I want to jump to page 2, I just click on that and it brings up that page. Now, like I mentioned, I don't want this blank page. That's pointless. So I click that little, this little arrow that pops up when I hover over it. I click that, and then I click delete. Yes, I want to delete it. And then it reorganizes this. So now this is page 1. It used to be page 2. But like I said, I don't want this one either. So I'll delete that, yes. And the instruction page, that would be embarrassing if I kept that in my listing presentation. So I'll delete that, yes. So I'm left with what are the first 3 pages of my actual listing presentation. And if I click this button, the up arrow brings it up, the down arrow tucks it away. And you can always just access that again there. Now I'm gonna zoom in again here. Actually, wait, before I do that, I'm going to title this design. Example, listing presentation. And sometimes I still like to go file, save. Designs used to have a bug where it wouldn't save your work. You'd have this auto save selected. So I got in the habit of just file, save, file, save, file, save. I haven't had that problem in a while. It seemed to have been saving pretty well. So I'm thinking maybe they fixed that bug, but just in case, I like to go in and periodically hit file, save. So anyway, here's my first page. I'm going to zoom in so I can see it a little better and you can see it a little better. And then we'll just see things that I might want to edit. A custom consultation exclusively prepared for. Cool, that works. Maria and Chris Roberts. I don't know. I'm going to make up some names here. Myra and Frank. Instead of Johnson, let's go with like something Nordic. I don't know how you would pronounce that. Johansson, maybe. Okay, so that was easy for me to do. I double clicked and it highlights anything that you highlight, you can just type over. Or if you want to hit delete and then do it, you can do that as well. Let's say Myra's name was Jessica. You see how this then just kept going smaller or lower and lower? That's because this box is set to a certain size. If I click away from it somewhere, I get these little white blobs. I'm going to take this and drag it so it looks like that. If I wanted to make it all one line, oh, it looks like maybe they must have hit enter. So if I go here, backspace, I could just make it all one line if I wanted to. Or I can make it 2. It doesn't matter. It's just a style thing, however you want it to look. So then I've got that. Here's just a stock picture. Maybe if you have their picture, you want to put it in here. Now, if it's a listing presentation, chances are that it's not listed, but maybe it's an expired. So it had been listed at some point in time. If that's the case, you can go in and just pull it from the old listing. If not, you could click on this. If you do have a picture of their house, maybe you just took one with your cell phone. Cell phone cameras have gotten pretty good. So if you take a nice picture, you can also upload that. So I selected this. If I go to images, add. So I can just go here and upload one from my computer. Oh, I made an ad earlier today. So actually, why don't I just use this? So I've got this picture here. It's taking a second. There we go. Since I have this selected, if I go over here, this little recycle looking button is going to replace it. If I click this plus, that's just going to plop it on the page somewhere. So I don't want to do that. I want to replace it. And ta-da, it just automatically puts it in there. Now, let's say I wanted to focus more on this fireplace or something. If I click on that and I have this little reposition tool up here, I click on that And it shows me where the picture actually is. We're only seeing like through a window. We're seeing part of it. I'm just going to drag it up a little bit so that fireplace is more focal. And we can see these chairs a little better. I'll say done. And edit it to look like that. I can also replace our logo here. And for me, I've already, this could be in your market profile or your market center profile in Command, or it might just be if you've uploaded these before, I'm not sure which. If you don't have these, if you go to answers.kw.com and just do a quick search for market center logo, you just have to enter our number, which is 191, and all of the images that are branded to us will pop up. You can download all of them. Like I have a folder on my computer because I just downloaded all of that. So I'm going to replace again. Oh, sometimes that doesn't work for me. If it doesn't, you can also just click use image and it just appears randomly. If that's the case, if like mine was, I don't know, having a brain fart or something there, it wouldn't replace, I'll click this. And then I'll just hit delete on my computer and it goes away. And now I can reshape this and I'll put it over here. Ta-da. Click my picture, or her picture. I don't want it to be her, I want it to be me, so I'm going to replace that. Here's my face. Again, if I don't like that, I can reposition it. Maybe it's not quite centered. Done. And then, again, I just triple click it so it highlights everything. Oops. My caps lock is on. Same thing here. Oops. And then, so it has these as two separate text boxes right next to each other. And that looks a little weird if there's that big of a space between them, just because my name wasn't as long as first name, I think is what they had in there. So if I just take this and drag it over, that looks better. And then I can go in here too and replace all of this, my phone number, download my app. You can find that if you go to, let me show you how to find that. Just gotta open up a new tab and my little Zoom bar gets in the way sometimes. So if you go to Command and we go down to Consumer, again, this is just me on a tangent showing you how to get your app code. Site and app settings up here. URLs. I'm going a little fast, but this is recorded and it's going to be on the YouTube channel, so you can go ahead and rewatch it if you need to. And then here I just click copy. So that's my app URL. That's not going to change. It's not changeable. I don't know why they put it in one of these boxes because it looks like it could be, but it's not. It's permanent. So you click copy, that will automatically copy it. Go back to what you were editing. And zoom in a bunch. And then I'm going to highlight this part right here. You can do two things. You can right click and hit paste, or if you hold down on a PC, Control V, or on a Mac, Command V, that'll do the same thing. It'll paste them. It's not wanting to paste, is it? There it is. I don't know why it wasn't letting me highlight it. I'm going to get rid of this https:// because most of the time, if you just type in app.kw.com somewhere, it's fine. Type in your name and your website. We can leave this. Each Keller Williams Realty office is independently owned and operated. That's fine. Ta-da! I have a beautiful cover page for my listing presentation. And now if I click this next arrow, that's going to be the next one that I had pulled from these templates. So it's nice. I really appreciate that they don't put in page numbers here because they don't necessarily know the page numbers, right? If you are adding and removing pages from this templates, it might not line up. So they just put it in order. Your property, your guide, your custom marketing plan representing your home. And then as we, and you know, this is that stock photo of an agent previously. Maybe one thing I might want to change on here is go to templates or sorry, images. Maybe I want to replace it with myself. And maybe I want to replace these with images from Grand Rapids. Maybe I don't. These are just stock photos. Or, if I'm doing something in like Coopersville or I don't know, Rockford, maybe I want to take things that are specific to those towns and put them in here. Maybe I want to put a picture of the Blue Bridge in Grand Rapids. I don't know. You can have fun with it or just leave it how it is. Then my next page, you'll notice here, up here, this looks like it got messed up somehow. Your property, that obviously got a little cut off. I'm thinking that's the same thing that happened to me on the first page where the box was too tiny, so I put it down. So all you have to do, this isn't hard, take the one that's on the right side and just drag it over. There we go. Now it has enough room. And you'll notice, so this says your property. Your property is the first category there in the table of contents. So as we go along and add more pages, you'll see there's a red bar at the top of each one. They're kind of using that instead of page numbers. So this is in the your property section. So is this. So is this. You can't see it every time I hover over it, but you can see kind of in the corner there, it says your property. And then your guide is next. That one says your guide, your guide, your guide. Yeah, so I'll show you how to do a couple more things on these pages, but then it's just, like I said, kind of a la carte, add what you want, get rid of what you don't. So your property, this is, who did I say, like Frank and Jessica or something? Maybe their house is 1555. That is not letting me save changes. It's not letting me edit it. I don't know why. There we go. 1555 and then Heather Lane. That's fitting. But we are going to make it Arboretum. Save changes. It's not being very friendly with letting me save these things today. Okay. And before it was the black and the red were butting right up against each other. I kind of liked that, but I also like that this lines up with the top of the picture. So I think I'm actually just going to drag this red one this way. I can be pretty meticulous about things. It's a blessing and a curse. And I don't like that these 5s are lower than the A's. There we go. Sometimes it'll give you little guidelines, like a blue line will pop up to show you that something is in line, which is helpful when it does. Doesn't always. So your property, here's that. I could, again, change this picture if I wanted to by clicking on it, going to images, add, and then let's pretend this was something I had already uploaded. Maybe I want this one, replace, and it swaps it out. Maybe I want this porch instead, swaps it out. It looks a little granular here, but if we end up printing this, or sometimes if you go away and come back, it will sharpen the image. So it looks concerning, but it's not. And I can pull up all the statistics on their home. So it says 3 bedrooms, 3 baths, 2,000 square feet, last sold for 310 in 2010. So again, I double click and then I can highlight in here any of this that I want to change. So obviously do your homework. Here, this offers some statistics, and you can go digging and find these statistics if you want. Your home is 10% larger than the average property sold in Barton Hills. Your home has the average number of bedrooms compared to the average property. And you can go into the MLS and really dig through that. But what I would do, again, I need to open a tab here, is if you go to Flex, or not Flex, go to your website. Regardless of whether or not you have set this up, the front will look something like this. It will have a search bar. So I'm just going to look in Grand Rapids, and let's say this is over here somewhere. If you zoom in, so this says Highland Park is the neighborhood. We're looking for the neighborhood. Click on that, and then you can click Explore Neighborhood. And that will give you some statistics that you can pull from. Will save you a little bit of time. If you want to go into the MLS and just figure out those statistics yourself, you absolutely can. But this says, so current stats, the average home price is this, it's the average sold price is this. You can click this little plus and it gives you a little bit more thorough statistics there. As far as price goes, that can help you out with that. It's not going to help you out with average number of beds and baths though. So I would do your own research there. Or like I said, you don't have to have this stuff in here. You could put something entirely different. I don't know what, but you could be creative. You can figure it out. So let's say this is good to go. You should ask while I'm adding some more templates here. Do you guys have any questions at the moment? Nope. Okay. So, oh, you do. Go ahead.
Maybe you'll be getting to this. I'm just wondering, with all these changes you're making with the photo and so forth, logos, is there a way to permanently save that? That's been my issue. I've had
permanently save
every time.
Are you talking about like when I go here, how this stuff all saves? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm wondering if you can permanently save a template that you create with your information.
Oh, like make a listing presentation template and all that stays the same, then you just go in and edit.
Yeah,
you definitely could do that. What I would do, and actually that's a great idea, what I would do is maybe you say, there's listing presentation template. And then I just save this as this. When I get done, just take a little detour here. I can look at all of the things I've made in the print section. So here it is, Heather's listing presentation template. If I click on these three dots, I could make a copy.
Okay.
So there's that.
And then start with your new one.
Mm-hmm. And then just go in and only edit the client's information.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I'm going to steal that. So if you go into templates here, as I said, we've done 1, 2, 3. I will just walk you through a couple more of these because, like I said, once you understand how to use the editor, there's a lot of decisions that I can't make for you. It's just going to be, what do you want to do because it's your presentation. So I'm just going to add a few. We can edit some things. And like I said before, I mean, make this unique to you, maybe not unique to you, but make it something that you want it to be. You don't have to put in all of these pages. But I mean, they're here if you need them. They do provide value. So on my pages now, I have 7 pages. Click show all pages. There they all are. And I can click this plus and add some more, but that's just going to add a blank one. So there's a blank page for me. Again, I don't need that. So I'm going to delete it. Here, comparable properties. This takes some time, especially going and finding pictures, but I mean, you're going to need to invest time into it either way, right? So this is still under your property. Here are the comps that you would have found. And you'll notice so there's this image. Again, I recommend just replacing it. It does have this red line that backs up to it. So I try not to move that because it's just so nicely lined up. It's exactly the same size or the same height, I should say. So my preference is to just replace that image. Replace it rather than add. If you add it, then you have to resize it like this and try to figure out where it goes exactly. So replacing is always my go-to. So you can replace these. If you want more than 4 comps, let's say you went and filled all this out. So here's the address, beds, baths, square footage, blah, blah, blah. If you wanted just to do an identical page to this, what I would do is open this up, comparable properties, click this down arrow again, and then just make a copy. So there you go. Now we have one here, comparable properties 1, comparable properties 2. So maybe I want to say comparable properties continued. I don't know that I need to, but I kind of like this red box. And this isn't like Microsoft Word where like I could select these 3 letters and make them a different color or a different font. It's kind of weird in that each new font has to be a different box. So I'm just going to copy and paste this one using Control-C to copy and Control-V to paste. Pasted it down here for me. And I'm just going to line this up here. See those blue lines I was talking about? That's it lining up there. Oops, continued. I don't know that I like that. Maybe I would just leave it with comparable properties. But like I said, it's an option if that's what you want to do. And then you just edit on that page. Your needs come first. Again, I always go through these, even if I'm not going to change anything, just to check everything, because look, somehow this got messed up. So I'll click that, just make that a little bigger. Needs come first. Maybe this is just things that you ask them anyway, and you don't need to have this page in here. That's fine. You don't have to add this page. Yep, go ahead.
I had a question. I'm filling in for, this is David Carlson, Kristen's husband. And I do a lot of her templates for her. And the problem I have is when you have, let's say, a template and you're trying to get to the bottom of it and enlarge it because you can't read the print, I can't seem to scroll it up and down. I can enlarge it with a plus or minus, but then I can't move the document. Is that my
like this?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. I have, it's very, very light, but there is a scroll bar right here.
Where is on this? See, I can't.
All the way on the right-hand side. You can. It's like a shade different than the background, so it's very hard to see.
I'm wondering if it's because I have the resolution set up maybe a little differently on my
Could be.
computer.
Or do you have a mouse with like the scrolly button in the middle? I don't know what that's called.
Well, I'm doing it on a laptop.
Oh, okay. So depending on your laptop too, then you might be able to go over to the right of the pad and just trace your finger up and down, or take 2 or 3 fingers, depending on the laptop, and that could make you scroll up and down as well.
Okay. Yeah, I don't see that scroll bar on the side, but I'm wondering if it's because of the resolution I have on the screen, if it's off to the edge. Because when I do it, I get, just a blue box that highlights.
Where do you get the blue box?
Well, like if I'm in the corner and I trying to scroll, I get like I don't know how you say it, but a blue box, like you're gonna create something. I don't know how to explain it, but I just, when I zoom in and out, it will enlarge. Let's say I go to 90%, I can see the upper part, but I can't see the bottom, and I want to move the document up. And I'm not able to do how you're doing right now.
Yeah, I'm just using, like I said, my little scroll bar, but if on my computer, it's 2 fingers I can use to go up and down, or I can see this bar and drag it. I'm wondering if your resolution on your browser might be different.
That could be.
If you want to hang around afterwards, let's just do a one-on-one. You can share your screen with me and then I can talk you through it.
Okay.
Cool. So like I said, I don't really want this one in here. So I'm going to go over, where are we here? Click delete. That always kind of freaks me out too. It says, do you want to delete current design? And that makes me think like, oh no, I'm going to delete the whole thing. But it's not, it's just that page. They're calling each page a design. And in this case, parentheses around 6 means we're on the 6th page. I really do like this. I think it's nice to have this checklist in here. And sometimes even if I'm not doing a listing presentation, if I'm just talking somebody through it, they have this same thing in a buyer presentation too. it's like, yep, we know that we're going to go through this. Maybe we've met up and I've talked to them about it. I still like them to have this document because it tells you exactly what the steps are. And we'll go into later, you can either, give this them digitally, or you can print it out, or both. But if they have it printed out, then they can go in and check off those things if they want to. So this all looks good. Your guide, the process, blah, blah, blah. Change this if you want it to become more like you. And then they've got all of these check boxes. Now the check boxes are evenly spaced. You can drag them if you want to. I don't know why you'd want to. It seems like a bit of a headache. Drag that back. And as you can see here, maybe I want this to be a lot longer. Oh, this one is actually, it's just allowing me to keep going down. I guess you would want to drag the check marks around if you were being really wordy with one of these and it would run into the next one. I don't think you want to be, though. I think concise is the way to go. It's a checklist. One thing you can do too, if you want to get rid of some of these, like maybe you're not doing a coming soon marketing campaign, for instance. What you could do, and this will take a little bit of work, but you could, let me select this. I'm just gonna select this and then hold down the control button. It's not gonna let me do that. It wants me to select one or the other. Okay, I'm gonna delete that. And then what I could do, what I want to do, if this will let me, it's making me drag this around, is I can draw a rectangle. I'm just clicking and dragging. And then these are going to remain spaced as they are here. And then I can just drag them up to this next one. I don't know what's going on with this one. This one's being a little weird. But I'm going to use those lines, like I said earlier, see how this is just lined up with all of the ones above it, and it's right in line with the facilitate inspection process. I just need to make sure those are. I mean, maybe you don't, but like I said, I just like everything to be lined up nice and straight. But what I would do too is if you're going to go through this and take things out, maybe you want to take out a few different things, do that first, and then go and move everything to fill it in. Otherwise, you're going to have to do this plenty of times. I took the rectangle and dragged it earlier. Drag that back. I think it was just centered. And I got that dotted blue line down the middle. That means that it is centered now. So I put that back in there. And maybe, I don't know, I'm gonna get rid of that one. You can just play around with it. If you want to add an extra check box, we can copy it. I just right clicked there. It doesn't want me to paste it. I'm just gonna go Control V. That's what I was doing before. Oh, so there it is. It doesn't put it where you want it necessarily, but it puts it somewhere. So you can drag those around, you can change these. I do like that though, because it's just a very concise, hey, this is how we are going to do it. These are all the things I'm going to do for you. You're showing them your value. If you want to include something on the app, if that's something you are going to be using, you can. So this is kind of a nice little ad for it. And within the app, there is that buyer and seller checklist feature. So it's like this, except both you as the agent and the client can go in and check things off when you're done with each step. So if I were keeping this in here, I would also tell them that, just so they're aware. And then here, again, you'd have to change that app code. For a custom marketing plan, you can change the wording in that if you want. Finding your buyer. The thing I don't like about this is a NAR statistic from 2018. So that's 3 years ago. When I was making one of these the other day, I just didn't include this. You could probably do a quick Google search and find what it was for 2020 maybe. But 2020 was such a strange year too. So I don't know. Again, that's up to you, but just know that that is 3 years old. So you might not want to use it. Then we just go ahead and add whatever you want. Best in class promotional assets. your media plan. This is one that this sometimes takes me a minute to edit because just listed postcard. Okay, well, by the time I send out postcards after it's been listed, it's probably going to be gone. You know, so I don't know that I want to include that in there, or maybe I want to edit it to be something else. Property brochure, sure, just listed flyer, sure. And you can change some of these in here if you want. This is just an example. If you want it to be an example brochure, that's fine. If you want to change all this to be their information, you can do that as well. Anyway, the reason I was saying that this takes me some time is if I don't want to do a postcard, well, let's say I get rid of that. Oh, there's an image holder. It has all these images you have to get rid of. So that takes a minute, all these boxes. Oops, I actually accidentally did the gray one. There we go. That's it here. Get rid of all that. Okay, now what I do, it's not symmetrical. If this matched this better, that would be cool, but it doesn't. I don't know, maybe that's just me being too anal about stuff, but then I'm thinking like, okay, now I got to drag all these over here or find something else to put there. So this can be a little trickier to mess with, I think. I mean, really, it's just for me, it's symmetry and making sure that it looks pretty and everything. But they do give you nice little snippets in here, so, and ideas really for how you'd probably be marketing it anyway. Or if you're not, ideas that you could. Coming soon, just listed email, open house invitation email, custom property website, agent website property feature, all these things. And just a little nice description of each of those. So if you are a marketing person or if you're good with this kind of stuff and you have maybe other graphics you want to add to this, you could do that as well. Like I said, it's kind of your canvas, but that one can just be a little tricky for me if I have to take something out. Again, this is a good place to look if you're not promoting things. Come look in here. It'll give you ideas. This guy's not quite right. Drag that out. So things you're going to do for them: walkthrough and needs analysis, professional photography, videography. If you don't do videography, don't say you're going to do something and then don't do it. So just take that out. Professional yard signage, coming soon to email database, coming soon social media, coming soon call-up campaign. I have a Twitter. I never use it, so I'm going to go in here and get rid of Twitter. But maybe I'm going to say YouTube, because I do use YouTube. Right? So you can edit that to be whatever you want. Same thing down here. I'm just going to kind of breeze through these. I don't want to waste your time saying the same thing that I said on the other pages. So, open house strategy. Obviously, some of this might be a little different because of COVID. I'm not sure they have updated it. No, that all looks pretty good, I think. In the details, so here's some more stuff you're doing. If you're thinking this is getting to be too much, we're up to 13 pages now. Maybe you don't put this in here, maybe because that's basically all on this page, the previous page, or 2 pages ago, I guess. So maybe if you're going to be in front of them talking to them about it anyway, maybe you don't include this page and you just tell them all of this. Right? Here you can put in some of your stats. If you're a newer agent and you don't have that many stats, you can use KW. And there is a page here, or a couple pages, I should say, on KW. Here, you can put your bio, some things about you, some of your statistics here. Like for me, I don't know. I've only been in the business for 2 years. I've served like 25-ish clients. So I don't know if I want to put this in here, or repeat clients, you know, I'm still young in my career. So I might think of something else to put here, but I like the idea of this page. And then this one, proof is in my numbers. So you can, you know, it's always good to have your statistics and know your statistics. And like Cheryl said earlier, we can just keep them in here, right? And you can make a copy and update it as you go. I think that's a good idea. Credentials and awards. This is all Keller Williams related. If we wanted to make this specific to our office, we could do that as well. Here's I always forget how to say that acronym, WI 3C, 4Cs, 2Ts, ES, because I put the equity in there now. If you want to put that in there, cool. If you don't, that's fine too. Your portfolio, so maybe these are previous listings that you've had, or maybe you haven't had that many listings. Maybe you want to put some things that you've done for buyers as well. You know, just showing that you're out there working in the industry. And they give you two options here. There's this one, which has 6. Maybe you haven't had 6 listings, but you have had 3. So maybe you want to do this page instead. It's just a different layout. Same thing here, featured listings. Here you can put some quotes or reviews from previous clients. I always think that's good. You know, people want to know what other people have said about you and not just that you're saying you're great. A promise. So this is what you're going to do for them. Selling safely. So this is a new one that they just put in because of COVID. And I do appreciate them putting this in here. So, and especially, you know, I wouldn't be surprised. There's buyers or sellers out there, would-be sellers, who see all of that we post on social media about how we had 137 showings in one weekend. Maybe people don't want that many people through their homes. You know, maybe they're still worried. Some people are, and they're not vaccinated and would like to be or something. I don't know. If that's the case, you can say, hey, listen, we don't have to do that. We can do virtual showings. We would do socially distant tours. Maybe you want to put in something about the open house guidelines that we have currently. So there's not going to be a bunch of people in your house at once, and it's not going to become a super spreader event. And then edit this also to the way that you do things. Like I said, don't say you're going to do something and then don't do it. Just adjust this so that you know what it is you're doing. Bottom line. If you have a picture of your signature, I actually did just for this. I just signed something on a white piece of paper, or signed my name, I should say, on a white piece of paper, took a picture and uploaded it. And then just make sure it is white, because otherwise these are going to be 2 different colors. Or, I mean, you could just make the background of this so that it matches this, or you don't have to put that at all. You don't have to put this page. You don't have to put your signature. Because I would imagine you're going to say these things anyway, right? You're not just going to hand them a booklet and say, hey, read this, I'll talk to you later. And the last thing they have on here, here's how you can get in touch with me. The only thing I don't love about this is it takes up a lot of ink. You know, that can be kind of like, it gets kind of wrinkly if you don't use the right kind of paper. Now, like I said, when we started out, there was that little thing up here about sending it, which I'm going to look into that more. So I don't know, maybe you send it off to the printer, it's done professionally, it's on thick enough paper to handle that. And that could be a really good option, I guess. So you just go in here, edit everything. If you wanted to, you could get rid of this black background. And then maybe I should change colors on these first, but you can make those red, right? You don't have to have a black background. And for me too, it's like, I feel like it doesn't match the theme of the rest of this whole template. I don't know what else there was around here. Kind of going in blind. Anyway, so you can go in and edit those. And if you wanted to, like I said, if you go to pages here, show all pages, and then click this plus, you get a blank white page. So maybe you're actually really good at designing things and you just want to make a couple pages yourself. That's totally fine. Here's a blank page. So you can go into shapes. Some of what they like to do is, let's say this is red and the outline is also red. A lot of times on these templates, like I am not a marketing person, so take what I say with a grain of salt. But what I see sometimes is this is a good way to have like, oh, there's a border here. And then I put information here and it just has kind of a two-toneness to it. Or a lot of times what I'll see too is in this template, they have like they almost make a white border just by creating a rectangle here. And you can use those lines to make sure that it lines up. They have like some sort of gray in here. I don't know. Just use that, apply. Oh, and then I want to make the border that too. So I can do that and put things in here. There's frames you can play around with. I don't know what this one is. That's interesting. I don't know that you would fit in there exactly. So that's kind of interesting. But if you wanted to put like a frame around a picture, I could put this TV on here, and then in this image placeholder, I would just go like I did before, pick an image, replace it. So you can play around with it and do what you want with it. And another thing is, so this show all pages will show all of them at once. I can use this bar to slide back and forth between them if I just want a ribbon down here. I can drag this wherever I want. Maybe I want this to be the 16th page and I wanted to put in something there. Okay, that's fine. Or I can put it here. You know, you can mess around with it there too. Any questions about doing the actual editing? Because the next thing I'm going to show you is how you download this, print it. What do you do with it after you're done? Okay. So that's how you edit it. Now we go to download. Now I am going to get a PDF of this because that's essentially what it's going to be, right? A PDF, ideal for printing. And really you could do one of two ways, or you could just do both ways. You can download it into a PDF, email that PDF to the person. Especially maybe you're going over it with them on Zoom. So like this, so maybe you're talking to them and they have it pulled up on their computer as well. Maybe you don't send it to them. Maybe you just share your screen with them, bring up the PDF and go through it and say, yeah, I'll give you a copy of this presentation afterwards, but I just wanted to go through it with you first. You could do that. Or maybe you're meeting them in person, you want to print it out and then afterwards say, I also emailed a copy of this to your email so that it doesn't get lost or whatever. Sometimes it's nice to have both a physical copy and a digital copy. Anyway, regardless of what we do, we need to get a PDF. So we are going to select all pages. You can just select the current page. Just because I don't know what I did with this TV here. I'm going to get rid of that. Okay. So I go download, get PDF, all pages. If you only wanted to print out like pages 1 through 10 or something, you can do that as well. Or make a document, I should say, of 1 through 10. You can do that. I want to do all pages. Standard web quality is fine, but if you are printing it out, you want high resolution so that nothing gets pixelated and granular. Publish settings, I do usually just click use manual bleed. That's just so if an image is supposed to go off the page, it shows that, you know, it's not like a little border around the edge that they sometimes show. And I'm going to click start download. Okay, and it tells me that it saved it also when it does that. You'll see this is gray. This usually takes a few seconds for it to process. And when that becomes black again, my download will be complete. It will pop up down here somewhere. Oh, there it is. Where'd it go? Usually it pops up down here. Well, let me make sure that it downloaded. Oh, it's still downloading. You can see up here, it's at 52%. Oh, it's taking longer than normal. So once that's finished downloading, I'll show you what we do with it from there, or what I would do with it from there. There it is. Okay. So I click on this, it'll open up. It saved it as copy of Heather's LP template original, which is what I had named it, right? Because I made that copy and came back in. Uh-oh. See, this is why I always like to look at these. Your property. That doesn't look good, so I'm going to go back in and edit that. And there we go. This is just in PDF form. Like I said, always make sure that you look through this for typos, like I have XXXX there. You can't edit a PDF. So what you would have to do if you did have mistakes in this is X out of it here. And then you go back and find where the mistake was and then go fix it. right? So if there's a mistake on here, I go edit it, and then I just do that again. I download it again. It'll probably save it as, so this is copy of Heather's LP template original. It would probably say copy of Heather's LP template original, parentheses 1. And whichever one is the most recent, then obviously, or the highest number is whatever's the most recent. So from there, you've got this file on your computer now, so you can go ahead and email it. You can put it on a flash drive if you want to. You can do whatever you do normally with the PDF. But another thing you can do now is print it. So if you have a good printer at your house, you can feel free to print that out here. You can also, what I used to do was I would just take it to FedEx and have them print it out for me. So either FedEx has a couple ways. You can upload it onto their website. You can use a flash drive and bring it into them. But like I said, I'm curious about this thing that popped up earlier. I'll have to find it again now, that said something about printing it. So I wonder if we partnered with somebody and I missed that update. So I'll let you know if I find that out, or what I find out with that. So we can do that. This is the share button. If you just wanted to go and share it as an image, this will take you to Facebook, Twitter, or Pinterest if you just wanted to. This design versus the project. This design is this page. The project is all of the pages. And in that case, it shares it as a link that they can go to. I do like just to have the PDF because then it's a physical thing they can take with them. They've got it to keep. So that's how I would do that. And I think that's about it. What questions do you guys have?
Hey,
Heather,
Heather, I have a question. Oh, sorry, Cheryl, you want to go?
Oh, can I just ask one quick question?
Yes.
Yeah.
So how was it that you shared it? I'm sorry, I wasn't looking when you were doing the share.
Share it to Facebook and stuff.
Not necessarily. What if I want to share it with, say, Marie?
What I would do is I would just download like we did. Then you have this copy, this PDF is on your computer.
Yep.
And then you just take the file and email it to her.
So not as a PDF, but one that she could edit as well.
Oh, okay. Oh, I don't know if you can do that. That's a good question.
I thought you had said you could, sorry.
No, I did say share, but I was talking in the sense of social media.
Oh, got it. Okay.
I don't think that you can do that. I'll look into that though, because that would be a useful feature to have, I would think.
Thank you. Sorry, Marie.
You're welcome.
Go ahead.
No, it's okay, because I think you can save it. I've saved it before, not as a PDF, so that I can edit it.
What did you
But
save it as?
I may have some stuff on my computer, so
Oh,
that I
okay.
could do that. I may have the Adobe up here to do it, but
Oh, okay.
the question I had, which everybody else may know the answer to, and I'm still stumped on, is where do you get our stats for KW? Like everybody keeps talking about, you could use our stats from our office. You can use your stats from, and I'm going, where do I get our stats? You know, like what's the best place to find that stuff?
Cheryl might know better than me, but I can show you a place where I think we can find them. So I went to mykw.kw.com, and that's going to take us to the intranet. And that's this page, which you may or may not have seen before. And then where is it in, there's a report section. Oh, access my reports. And now I don't know where exactly. I'd have to kind of thumb through these a little bit, but if you haven't explored this, there's a lot of useful information in here.
Okay.
And you can use this to find out how close you are to capping, where you rank in the office, as far as you can sort things by like number of sides closed for 2020 or things like that. So maybe, is there like an office version here? So this is by associates.
KW statistics on the right, is that?
I'm looking for, market center. I'm looking for something that's, I mean, you could just use KW statistics, but
Right.
we're a
Okay.
little more local. What was that here? agent count and royalty. So I don't know if that would have it or not. Maybe rankings? Top market centers? So we could find where we are and that might have some insight. But that is a great question, Marie, because if anybody else knows a different place where you would go, I would also like to know that.
Yeah.
So there's the top 10. The thing is too, I don't know if you can like search, which is a real pain in the butt. So we'd have to look for, I don't know if it's under KW Grand Rapids or just Grand Rapids. But let's just click on one of these. It's not doing anything. No, maybe this isn't what we're looking for then. Anyway, yeah, so you can, I think it's fun sometimes to go in here, but then I get overwhelmed because there's so much information. I'm like, I can't do this. But yeah, sometime when you have time to go through here and see,
Okay.
I would think anything that says market center in it. So rankings, maybe, oh no, where did I find the other one? Keller Williams Market Center.
It's just funny because people always talk about it. It sounds like it's really fast and easy. And hey, just go click on the KW stats button, you know, and I'm like,
Right.
where am I
wish there was
getting
one.
that? Right.
Okay, so market center, royalty, and agent. So we can sort these. So let's sort it by name. Or actually maybe city's better because then we'll know it's Grand Rapids. This is kind of nice if you want to spy on other areas too. There we go. Grand Rapids East. So these are our, some numbers. I don't know, what are these for? I think it's agent count, CGI, royalty, and owner profit. So you can find those numbers there. You know, I'm going to ask Jason
Okay.
or Judy.
Or Judy.
Yeah, I'll shoot them an email after we get off the call here because that's something I would like to know as well.
Yeah, that would be great. Or if they suggest, you know, for different areas, or they suggest the best way for us to do it would be great. Thanks so much.
Yeah, definitely. All righty. Well, do we have any more questions about listing presentations? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop this recording. Stay on if you just still want to ask questions off camera, but this will be it for the YouTube recording. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Heather.
You're welcome. Okay, I stopped recording. No, I didn't.